Shalom. Start by saying all praises to Yahweh, Bar Shem, Yahweh Shai, Bar Shem, Arakar, Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well.
And shalom to the hopeful elect.
Shalom.
Shalom. You wanna kick it off?
Got anything?
Second entrance 15. Verse 5. Behold, saith the Most High, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Yeah, basically we're in that time, man, where the plagues, the famine, the sword, these things are occurring. We're in the midst of it. So, that's what we're going to kind of go into. Just, present times, prophecies, news, what's been going down. Because it really ain't slowed up, man. The situation you got, Iran, the nuclear talks with the US again, starting up. That's kicking off. The whole situation as well with Israel really still there. Netanyahu, this guy is looking for. He's still in the hot seat. He's looking for something to distract everyone with. Iran's there, and as well, like as soon as Biden came in office, what did he do? Strikes on Syria. So those things, that World War III still fermenting. You got in Russia and Ukraine, you had like Russia. They went in and did their thing in Crimea a few years back. And now it's looking like it's building up again. And that's kind of creating a tension between NATO, the EU, and Russia once again. To where, that conflict is building up. And in the background of all that, you got, the mark as far as with the vaccine getting pushed out. With the vaccination passports, these things getting pushed out. The mark, these digital currencies getting pushed out. China's pushing theirs heavy. These things are moving. These things are observable. So it's that time where, it's said in Habakkuk 2, that it will speak and not lie. So that's where that time we're speaking, and it's been that time we're speaking for a little while. So that's why it's like if you should then be able to know like who the Lord's dealing with and who He's not. Because you got something.
I'll read this. Ezekiel 33:1. It says, again the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. Alright? So that's likened unto us. We're set up in that same stead as well. Us being the watchmen over the house of Israel, the prophets of Yahweh, Bar Shem, Shai, here to say what's going to happen before it happens. We're out here letting the people know, mainly dealing with the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and also all our descendants, or the descendants of Israel scattered all over the world. So if you're a so-called white person, you believe in this faith, you're an Israelite. If you're a so-called Chinese person, you believe in this faith, you're Israelite. So-called Hamitic person believing this truth, you're Israelite, alright? So it's not down to who you look like. It's down to if these words resonate with your spirit. Because this is the gathering onto the house of Israel, alright? And it's being done by what? Us blowing this trumpet, alright? Which is basically the words, the prophecies of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Hashem El Shai. We're making warning before anything happens upon this earth to make ready the people for the Heavenly Father to send forth His Son, Yahweh Shai, to save us from the impending doom upon this earth.
I've got a
Right.
precept on what you just said.
Go ahead.
Go on. Amos 3:7. Surely the Most High Power will do nothing, but He revealeth His secrets unto His servants, the prophets. I was going to start from verse 6 a lot.
Go ahead.
Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh have not done it? So yeah, that's how this thing's working. It's basically like this is about the judgment of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. He's the one who's declaring and basically saying like, yo, this is it. It's time. It's time to wrap this up. Because as far as what's been allowed is all these present kingdoms, man. It was what was the dream that was interpreted by Daniel Salah. By Daniel about what? The statues, the beasts, basically the different rulerships of the kingdoms of men, which you've had. Their times it's right in the latter times, man. The times of them 10 toes, where it's all coming to a head, and you can see. This is why it's like who was it said they were developing nuke? Russia said they developed a nuke that they could shoot that would basically create tsunamis in the US. The US is testing new things. You had North Korea shoot a missile into the South China Sea or whatever the sea is called. These, all the nukes are becoming a thing again. It's why? Because the Lord's getting ready for that bad time, that evil to be visited upon, the great city. Because Babylon's that great city. America is that great merchant city where everyone does trade. So that's why it's like all this being built up to is what? Is that final crescendo, man. That final, that apex level of destruction, man. That pinnacle of destruction, which is going to be it's going to be remembered. There's going to be a high holy day for it. That's how significant it's going to be. So yeah, surely the Most High will do nothing, but He will reveal a few secrets unto His servants, the prophets. Yeah, so the prophets, we're the ones who's had the secrets revealed to us. That's why it's like through the Spirit came through our apostles and elders and on down to where what we're all pushing out the same message, man. The Spirit's got the whole he's the whole elect, the sheep of Yahweh Shai.
Body of Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, speaking that same message, which now you're seeing manifest. And what says the lion have roared. If I say the lion have roared, who will not fear? The Most High have spoken, who can but prophesy? Yeah, that's it. It's the word's gone out. So you should be in fear. You should basically that should be the motivation to be like, yo, you want to get right with Yahweh Hashem Yahushai as an Israelite. Otherwise, if you're one of the other heathen, you're basically like in the stands watching. You're an observer. And if you're an Edomite, just get ready for everything that you love about this world to come crumbling down, man, and get ready to go into captivity. Yeah, done on that.
I got something else to land back off your one, and I go back to Ezekiel. 1 Corinthians 14:6. Now, brethren, if I come unto you speaking with tongues, what shall I profit you, except I shall speak to you either by revelation, or by knowledge, or by prophesying, or by doctrine, right? So when we speak, it ain't about coming and speaking in tongues. Oh, this brother knows how to speak Greek. If you don't understand what's being said, if you don't understand the weight of the words that we're saying, which is the weight of the words in this Bible, then it's to no avail, because we should be, as Paul said, by revelations, by knowledge, by prophesying and by doctrine. That's how we should be coming. Alright? Verse 7. And even things without life giving sound, whether pipe or harp, except they give a distinction in the sounds, how shall it be known what is piped or harped? Alright? So, this is the point, guys. This is the point, verse 8. For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? Alright? And that's the point. So, there was, I believe it's actually, I was thinking about it now. It's in the book of Numbers. It goes into this, the distinction of sounds, the different trumpets in the law. It basically establishes different sounds for different trumpets to be blown. I believe when they were gathering the camps, when you go into the history, so they basically said, when you hear this trumpet sound, it means this. When you hear the trumpet sound, it means that. When you hear the trumpet sound, you do this. So all the trumpets basically ordained a different meaning, alright, and they indicated for the people to do certain things, alright, and that's the point. So let me read it again. For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself for the battle? And that's the point. I could read on, but that's more or less it. So when you hear the trumpet being blown, it's for what? To indicate, and really, as the brother just read in Amos 3 and 6, you know, the trumpet is being blown to let you made known what's going on. Alright, it says Ezekiel 33 and 6, but if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people will not be, he be a Salakia, man. As watchmen, we're meant to do what? We're meant to stand upon our watch and write the vision, make it plain upon tables. You know, we're meant to basically publish this word. And that's why we go into measuring the time diligently, alright? And the way we do that is by watching as well as praying, and we work out what prophecies are going on, and then align the prophecies that are going on with the current affairs in the world. And then it gives us an indication of where we are. But then what we meant to do in knowing that, we ain't meant to sit on our talent or basically, you know, wrap it up and leave it there. We're meant to go forth and bear our light before the people. You know, a light shouldn't be put on a bushel. It should be put on top of on a candlestick so it can give light to the whole room. So we're basically lighting up the world to let everyone know that, look, and mainly we're letting everyone know because it's the prophecy of Yahweh Hashem Shai. He wants everyone to know before he comes, but mainly to ready the elect of the house of Israel. So I read that again, verse 6. But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. Alright? So we didn't, because there was no warning made, he will die in his own iniquity, but it will be required at the hand of the watchman. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. Alright? So I'll read on a little bit more. It says, when I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die. If thou dost not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. Alright? Yeah, so that's more or less it, man. You know? You got any news or scriptures you want to bring out? I think I wanted to read one other more.
You want more? If you want more, you can grab it. So.
Nah, I'm good.
So I got this on AP. Just about the situation between Iran and the state of Israel. It says Iran ship said to be Red Sea troop base of Yemen attacked. It says an Iranian ship believed to be a base for the paramilitary Revolutionary Guard and anchored for years in the Red Sea of Yemen has been attacked, Tehran acknowledged Wednesday. Iran's foreign ministry confirmed the attack on the MV Saviz, suspected to have been carried out by Israel though Tehran did not immediately blame its regional arch enemy. The assault came as Iran and world powers sat down in Vienna for the first talks about the US potentially rejoining the tattered deal aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear program, showing events outside the negotiations could derail the efforts. Yeah. So this is kind of, you've had really since DJ Trump was in office, they've been kind of jousting around with Iran. Iran's kind of, I think the deal got made just before Obama came out of office. Then Trump just fucked it off, and then you've kind of had, over the process of time, they've just kind of like completely gone off like any kind of recognition of it. And like the EU's still trying to fuck with them, but it's because the US put sanctions on them. They were just like, fuck it, we gotta do what we gotta do. Because otherwise their economy was a bit fucked. It's funny, I was doing reports. It was like, yeah, they're kind of like, there ain't really much they can do, but then certain men were moving around it. So this is kind of, and that's the thing as well. It's like with how, prophecy is gonna go down, you're gonna have everyone's gonna hate the whore and burn her with fire. So really, it's even everyone is allied with America. They're essentially sick and tired now. Something's gonna go down. We don't know the specifics, but it will result in all these countries turning against America. And this is, part of that power that is being exercised by America. On these sanctions. Being able that historically what they've gone around and done. These things are gonna turn around to bite them in the ass. Cause why? Esau's really been thinking he's got away scot-free with everything he's done. Because even to this day, he still does. He's continued with his wickedness. It's not stopped. His societies have stayed strong and reinforced, man, in their wickedness, man. It's like them pride parades. It went from like a day to like a week to like a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically, gaining in strength. And that's completely against the scriptures. Even if you deal with like the different churches, I remember I did a video on it. The Roman Catholic Church saying that like if you're LGBT, then you got no business in the church. And then like there were in the Roman Catholic Church that were priests and whatnot that were getting all upset about it, all torn up. And I was just like, this is a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is just completely not what the scripture is about at all.
So, right, let me read the scripture that you mentioned.
So this is Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast,
These shall hate the whore. Right, the 10 horns represent the EU, right? If I'm correct, right? The 10 common markets of the EU, yeah, I believe it's the EU.
Yeah.
So it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest. Yeah.
Yes. And I think the heads were the original 7 lands like for ancient Rome. If I remember correctly, Germania Major, Germania Minor, the Franks.
we'll look it up. I got it saved on my phone, so I'll look it up after I read this. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore,
And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Now, are they literally going to eat the whore? Are they going to burn her and eat her in as a form of cannibalism? No.
it's talking parabolically, alright, metaphorically. It's basically saying that
The way that they're going to eat the whore represents America, and the way they're going to eat up the whore is by way of ICBMs, okay, nuclear weapons. When you go to the book of Isaiah 9 and 5, actually, when you go to the in this book, Revelation, you go to the 8th chapter, it's prophesied an angel speaks of 3 woes, alright? And the 3 woes represent 3 world wars. And when you go to the book of Revelation 11 and 14, it basically goes into the second woe. It says the second woe is past, meaning the Second World War, and the third woe cometh quickly, alright? So that's impending. And that's why, actually, let me not even go on a tangent on that. But the point being that it's coming quickly. And in the book of Isaiah, the 9th chapter, it tells you that this war will be done by way of fire, alright? And that's the president that's been set after he had the World War I and II. what was on the onset from the fall of Germany and America becoming a superpower in contention with Russia, they basically started dealing with nuclear power, right, and basically building warheads, all right. So reading on it says, and the 10 horns shall hate, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, all right, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Verse 17, for the Most High hath put in their hearts, meaning their minds, to fulfill his will, all right. It's all about the Heavenly Father's will. Read Romans the 9th chapter, all right, where it goes into him fashioning man as clay, and everything being done as Pharaoh before to fulfill his will, and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So he's got them tucked on the layaway, all right. So when this all goes down, those same people that was at peace with you, they're gonna show that they ain't messing with you no more, and they're gonna fire their ICBMs on you, all right, and destroy America. And also the state of Israel is gonna have a part to play in that as well, because they're gonna be destroyed too, all right.
Go. Finish on this.
Con.
Yeah, the 10 horns is the EU. I'll just quickly read it now. It says the 10 horns: Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland, and West Germany. All right, and that was the European Economic Community that was established in 1958. All right, they changed the name to the EU, and that's where it originally stemmed from. Go ahead, brother.
So back in the article it says the ship's long presence in the region, repeatedly criticized by Saudi Arabia, has come as the West and UN experts say Iran has provided arms and support to Yemen's Houthi rebels in the country's years-long war. Iran denies arming the Houthis, though the components found in the rebels' weaponry link back to Tehran. So yeah, it's basically just a web of a bunch of different conflicts, and really it's you've got these are all like just essentially proxy wars that have been funded by Russia, China, America. They're basically investing. You had like trying to invest I think 400 million or 500 million or something to that kind of impact in Iran. They made a big deal of it. So it's they've basically got it's financial backing from the different parties, man, and it's all what just building up that war and that conflict, because it's all gonna be leading up to what the large scale conflict, and this is what for the Lord's plans, because that's why it's like, but people in the general populace over here in the West, in Europe, in America, they're not really paying attention to these things, man. These things aren't really real to them. They're just, they'll say like, oh, it's terrible, blah, 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 but they don't really know what's going down.
Got a quick precept dealing in particular with Russia. So it's Ezekiel 38:1 down to verse 4. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, and the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him.
So Gog and Magog is the historical inheritance
of the sons of Japheth, but today Gog and Magog are known as Russia, all right? Basically. So reading on it says, so basically what I'm saying is that what the word is saying is this is about Russia, all right? And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So that's why, as the brother read about, this being a proxy war, you have Russia basically setting themselves up alongside with Moab as well. They're basically like a partner in this enterprise, but really it's dealing with the curse of Esau. This is Esau's time to rule, and Moab just have their part to play in their downfall. All right, but Russia's being risen up by the spirit of Yahweh Bar Shami Shai. He's put hooks in their jaws to pull them back into that cold war spirit. All right, to basically go again to be at odds with America. All right, to fulfill this prophecy. You got anything?
Can.
Actually, let me quickly get this one in Revelations 13 as well, because that speaks to the point. Revelations 13. Bloody signs this. Revelations 13:1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head is named with blasphemy. And the beast I saw was like unto a leopard, alright? So which represents, actually let me not even get into all the breaking down, let me just get to the point. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet as the feet of a bear, alright?
So the feet of a bear on this beast.
This beast represents Esau Edom, alright? And the feet represents Russia, being known as the bear, alright? And ultimately the feet is gonna be the end of Esau's rulership. And Russia's only gonna be the end of Esau's rulership. They don't know that the Heavenly Father's put a spirit on Esau to pick a fight with the Russians and to want to subdue them. But only it's gonna be to their detriment, because it's gonna be the end of Esau's rulership and the end of America as you know it, alright? Because Russia, aligned with all the other nations, as I read in the book of Revelation 17, are gonna, send their missiles over there.
Read this.
Let me check my cooker real quick.
Job 20 and verse 4. And knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach up to the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? Yeah. So all this, his excellency, this present, all the desolate places that have been rebuilt up by Esau, these things are temporal, man. These things are all coming to an end.
Fashion of this world pass away.
Yeah. Because like even with, it's like the what do you call it? The conflict between, what's the word I'm looking for, man? The people basically warring against each other. All these, differences that are being accentuated by Esau. Like the racial tensions. The class tensions. All these different things. Like you had. Now it feels like forever ago with the Occupy movement where they were like, saying, 1%, yeah. So that's a throwback,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was
10
like when they were
years
saying,
ago,
yeah. It was like, the 1% and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
These things have really always been in the background, because lately they've been bringing up like how millionaires have essentially made a killing over the course of the lockdown. I think they said there was like more new millionaires made, and they like increased in money, whilst the general, like everyone else is broke and on the bottom, decreased in money. So these things are being highlighted.
The financial gap is
Growing wider.
Yeah. So all these schisms and differences are going to be utilized. Well, the elites think they're utilizing it, but it's it's for prophecy. So I got this article on what's it called? On The Guardian. It's in Northern Ireland. And them Irish cats are absolute fucking psychos and maniacs anyway. So Like I was watching a documentary kind of breaking down the troubles, and it's like them man were just on a straight madness. Like man were 11, 10, rolling around with revolvers and submachine guns, blazing each other up, blowing up cops, blowing up shops, bombing shit. Them guys went absolutely like ape shit.
IRA era.
Yeah. All that. It's the shit last of it. It was like from the 60s to the
Early 2000s, right? Or late
I think
90s?
like 1998. The Good Friday Agreement was like 1998 or something.
Okay.
It was real
Yeah.
recent.
Because
So
we remember that we're watching that on the news. Every
Yeah,
day.
Everybody day, man. IRA.
yeah. Just fucking shit up.
Mhm.
So it's like, and why it's coming to focus now is because of this whole Brexit situation. You had the basically like there's
Sinn
they
Féin?
said because they said there needs to not be a split between like Northern Ireland and
Ireland.
Ireland and Northern Ireland. But obviously now that Northern Ireland's still part of the UK and Ireland's part of the EU, they made the deal which basically would result in that. And then, no surprise, you got the fallout from it. Let me read this because it's well, I say it's funny. So it shows the kind of madness that's going on over there. So it's on the Guardian. It says bus set on fire in Belfast on sixth night of unrest in Northern Ireland. It says what stones thrown at police and press photographer attacked in assaulted in attack condemned by First Minister and PM. So it says a bus has been hijacked and set on fire in Belfast in the sixth consecutive night of violence in Northern Ireland. The vehicle was set alight at an intersectional area between nationalist and unionist communities. The bus service of Northern Ireland, PSNI, said stones were thrown at police while a press photographer was assaulted during the course of their work on Wednesday evening on the junction of Lanark Way. It says tyres and bins were set on fire near the interface gates at Lanark Way, which open in a wall that separates the two communities. And it's funny that they still have the separated community. So I remember I was even watching maybe it was I don't think it was Captain Planet, but there was I think there's a clip in Captain Planet, but it was like in the cartoons in the 90s. I remember there was one where they were showing like the difference between going into the conflict, and it's like they I think they're time travelers or something. They go back to that time, and then they're saying like they meet someone and it's like, oh what, you're fucking Catholic, eh? They start swinging in the street. The man are chucking bombs, burn down houses, burn down a whole row of houses, and that's the kind of shit that was going down. And it's like the whole kind of crux of the plot is man's like he hates these, he hates these